My name's Dominic Spain and I'm the Chief Exec of Shared Lives South West. So Shared Lives is a model of care where people with support needs get to live in the normal family homes of Shared Lives carers that's dotted all around the counties that we work in, and their Shared Lives carers will help them to live a meaningful, community-based life, and so it's a sort of a much more person-centred version of care than the more institutional forms of care that people are familiar with, like residential homes.
Yeah! I did it! You did it! Well done, Sammy.
Hi, I'm Fiona Duff and I live in a Shared Lives family. When I was in supported living, there were people less fortunate than me that needed extra support, and I didn't. The support workers were busy attending to them. I think the company, being in company of you and your parents and housemates is a big support.
My name's Ian Richardson and I'm a Shared Lives adult placement provider. Jill and I, Rosie's mum, we've always worked within sort of social care settings, and then we were hearing about all these people that kept leaving to go and do this thing called Shared Lives, and we were quite intrigued by that, so we looked into it some more, and it seemed to have an awful lot of positives, both for the people they supported, primarily for those people, but also equally importantly it was working as a family for the carers as well, and other family members, and they were really pleased that they did it. So we just thought, well, what's to lose really? So we were able to start kind of Easter time 2010. Yeah, so juggling family life and the life of a carer, I guess, becomes almost the same thing in a weird way. We don't really differentiate. Initially, when the kids were small and we were starting out, it was a concern. We were wondering how the children would cope or whether there'd be any issues, but we wouldn't have known that unless we tried. And once we were running, it was very apparent very quickly that they were enjoying it, and that it was obvious that it was adding to their lives. And we're just a big family, and we just help each other, and that's what it's all about, really. So, having worked in various settings, a lot of sort of supported living settings, I worked in some areas and some models that seemed to be getting it right, but I worked in some terrible ones that really were not getting it right. And I saw that too many times, really. And they're being let down. They were being let down. So the question was, what makes Shared Lives better? We've seen the bad stuff. We've seen what doesn't work, because we're boots on the ground. We've been boots on the ground in these places for years. So we saw Shared Lives, and from what we've seen, it's far, far, far superior to anything else that's out there for individuals that they're getting that person-centred individual approach where they're not a label, and it's a more long-sighted view of giving somebody some consistency in their lives in a setting that makes them feel valued. They can relax, they can be themselves, they can live the life they wish to live, and 24/7 they have the support in a family setting. For instance, one of our guys, the chap that lives with us, he has a whole small holding outside. I mean, he couldn't do that anywhere else. So he has his goats, his sheep, he's got his livestock outside, and that is his entire life. I know of no other model where that would be possible. You know, he'd be in a flat somewhere, and he just wouldn't be suited to that. He just isn't. Comes from a farming background. He lives for his animals, and that's his life. So thankfully, Shared Lives is able to provide that. And you're able to give attention to the person, and you're able to, because you're with them all the time, you can notice small changes either for the better or for the worse, and you can address them there and then, and you can observe, and you don't have to pass it to another staff team and maybe forget and go home. You're there all the time, so you notice these changes in people, and you get to know them really well, and they get to know you really well. And on the flip side, they get to know when you're having a bad day. And, because we're all human at the end of the day. So I think the consistency and the fact that they are living in a family setting and free to be who they are is paramount, and is what Shared Lives is really good at.
Happy birthday to you. Yay!
Hi, my name's Lee Sawyer, and I am an ex-service user of Shared Lives. I came to live in Shared Lives due to some really unfortunate circumstances in my past, that from my birth family, which made me have hard decisions, even looking after myself, cleaning, washing, the usual stuff. I feel supported by Shared Lives because basically when I was basically where I was living beforehand, I was basically made out to be that I was aggressive. I mean, I wasn't aggressive, but being constantly told things, that I'm this, that and the other. And then Ian came along and said that, no, you're not going to be labelled that. So that really supported that gave me a boost in confidence to be told that I'm not aggressive. And how they literally have been there every single day, and I'm able to shower, clean, cook, which where before I wasn't able to. Didn't even know how to cook, clean, or even more embarrassingly, I couldn't look after myself. I've always said from the start I wanted to have kids, and Ian was like saying to me, "You'll have kids. You'll do it, mate. You just got to put your mind to it and do it." They meant a lot to me, to be accepted into a family that doesn't just think that their job is a job, but more of an extension of their family. And I've got quite used to, having things thrown at me and just, that's it, I've got to get on with it. But there's times where I've actually been able to do things, and if it's because of these lovely people. There was one incident where they knew that I wanted to see my birth mum for the first time in 25 years, and Ian took me up to London, and I managed to see her. And I thank him for that. And there were times when I would just go and sit in the living room, and I would need a cuddle from Jill, and Jill would give me a cuddle, and that's all I needed. But it's not just Ian and Jill and Rosie that I had to get used to. It was other service users that were in the house, which was quite awkward for me at times. But they've even became family now. But there is, when I say that Ian knows me better than most people just judge me and say, "Oh, you're this, that, and the other." Ian will go, he'll challenge it. And the best thing he does is he actually challenges the person that says it. He says, "No, he's not got this, he's not got that. You labelling him with that." And that he's got passion there. And he had to fight that a lot, because even my parents had issues with me being, saying that they've got anger issues, but I didn't. They weren't listening to me. I want to say this from my perspective to anybody that's new, that wants to come into Shared Lives. I would say, look at it as an opportunity to succeed in life. Because I've got what I wanted. But from my perspective, coming from nothing to having everything in my life now is enough to say that being in a Shared Lives placement, yes, it can be scary, it can be daunting, you can be nervous, but that's all natural, and you can be like that, and it's okay to be like that. But If you think of a barrier and you put that barrier straight up, you need to knock it down. Because from my point of view, you can't go through life with barriers and barriers and barriers, because that's what stops you. I have been struggling through life, but there's people out there that's willing to help you. Take every opportunity to, because otherwise you'll miss out. It's the strangest feeling, because obviously you can't choose who your family are. But when you've met some lovely people that have been there non-stop every moment, they're there for you, it just becomes family.